Good afternoon. I'm Tate Williams, and welcome to Take a Moment. I'm grateful that you've decided to join me today as we strive to take a moment and discuss a thing or two from the Word of God. The thing that I've decided for us to take a moment and talk about today comes from Philippians chapter 1 and verse 27, when Paul says, "And only let your manner of life be as it becometh the gospel of Christ." Paul says to let your manner of life, every aspect of your life, to be as it becometh to be worthy of the gospel of Christ. So we're to let every aspect of our life be worthy of the gospel of Christ. Now, we don't have time to discuss every aspect of our lives, seeing as there is an infinite number of aspects in our lives. We do, however, have time to talk about one. And that one aspect that I would like us to talk about today is that of our speech. Or more specifically, how we as Christians speak one to another. Many times you have Christians who will speak to one another in a way that belittles their fellow Christian, or they'll speak to them in a way that makes them feel inferior in an attempt to make themselves feel superior. Or they'll speak to them in regards of their physical possessions or their talents and abilities, and they'll speak of those things in a way that belittles them or makes those things inferior to their superior physical possessions or talents and abilities. And Christians, that's not how we're supposed to be. Jesus said in John 13 and verse 34, "This new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another." Christians, we're to love one another. We're to be there for one another. We're to speak in such a way to one another that it encourages each other and uplifts each other. We're to, instead of belittling others and making ourselves feel superior, we're supposed to speak to one another in a way that lifts others up above ourselves, not the other way around. More so than just loving one another, Christians, we're to be Christ-like, which means we're going to speak to one another as Christ would. So we are to speak to one another lovingly, and we are to speak one to another as Christ would. And only let your manner of life be as it becometh the gospel of Christ. I thank you for joining me today here on Take a Moment. And Lord willing, I'll catch you here next Wednesday. See you then.